Hi, welcome to SBR Sports Picks. My name is Peter Loshak. This is the live show that we do every weekday morning at 10:30 Eastern Time. Today is Tuesday, August 1st, and yesterday, I'll tell you what, I'm bowing down to Donnie MF and Rightside. Donnie MF and Rightside. Holy crap! Well, yesterday there was a big controversy, which I played up a little bit for comedic effect. I mean, I was having fun.
Say that you created.
I was having fun with it. But damn, I was on the wrong MF side of that one. Donnie Rightside was on the right side of that one. If you know what we're talking about, our regular viewers know that yesterday I thought Doug Fister was going to be vulnerable. Donnie Rightside made a call that Boston was the side there. I told him and all other sharps who were betting that line because the line appeared to be going down, although it did come back up by close, which might have just been public money. But I told it to shove the pick up their collective metaphorical ass, and I'm the one who wound up looking like a friggin' idiot because Fister had a great start. Boston cashed, and yeah. Hey, so Donnie Rightside, if you'd like to chime in as to how you knew that Fister was going to have a good start there, we'd all appreciate it. And also he gave a call that Baltimore would be the play yesterday as well, which they were. I wasn't necessarily disagreeing with that. I just thought that Casey on the first 5 innings over would cash, which it didn't. But I had another loser there, and I went head-to-head with Tomarino Tomor on the Houston total, and I lost on that one. Although I did nail the first 5 innings over in the Texas-Seattle game, so it was my first solidly losing day in a long time. And Donnie Rightside impressed us all yesterday with his false flags, naming some plays that we should be on the lookout for that he liked, and his plays cashed. Nice job, Donnie Rightside. Of course. A sample size of 2 games isn't definitively, conclusive of anything, but it sure as hell is suggestive, and it sure as hell is anecdotally impressive for what it is. So Donnie Rightside, nice friggin' calls yesterday in our show. Really appreciate it. I'm gonna have to start paying closer attention to Donnie Rightside content in general.
Tell him tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll talk to him. I'll talk to him about that.
Are you a cigar guy?
Yeah. What?
Are you a cigar guy? Like, would you have a cigar?
Yeah.
I mean, like, again, in this situation, I've had a few in my life.
Yeah.
I'm not a cigar guy.
Yeah.
You can come have cigars.
Yeah, sure. I'll have a cigar with him, and I'll put the cigar in my mouth. I'll take it. I'll be like, Donnie. I'll say, Donnie, take a puff of the cigar and take it out, and then I'll be like,
cough a little bit. Probably.
Yeah. I'll be like, the fuck did you know Fister was going to have a good game? And don't bullshit me. And he'll probably
it's those candles he likes.
Yeah,
he has to like the Lady Fatima candles.
Yep. However he did it, however he knew, we're all very impressed. All right, let's get to today's card. There are a bunch of plays that I made on the overnight, and thankfully there are a few that are looking like low-hanging fruit today. We'll get that into a second. Before we very quickly before we get into that, just very quickly, I usually don't talk about non-sports stuff here, but did you see the shit about how like Facebook made these bots and the artificial intelligence? You didn't see that yesterday? All over the news. No,
I feel like that's probably my job. I should.
They made these bots, and it was straight because people, Elon Musk has been having a fight with Mark Zuckerberg and Stephen Hawking's people about artificial intelligence, like how dangerous it is, and they're battling back and forth. They're like, some of them are saying artificial intelligence will definitely destroy humanity within 50 years because it'll teach itself how to destroy humanity, and then some of them are saying no. And anyway, Facebook, you should read about this. Facebook made these bots. The bots created a new artificial intelligence bots. They created a new language that the programmers didn't understand just out of nowhere. Started communicating with each other in a way that the programmers couldn't understand, and they got really freaked out and pulled the plug, shut the whole thing down.
What?
Yeah,
I didn't hear about this.
Oh no, it's all over there. You should see it.
What do they call it when the machines take over
the singularity?
Singularity.
Yes,
and so there's
yes. So we are. It's pretty funny, and they printed out some samples of the languages. The bots were like, because they actually communicate with each other in English. They're trained to communicate with each other in English, and they out of nowhere just decided to invent their own language that only they could understand, and they started communicating with each other. They're like, and the programmers got freaked out. Anyway, all right. So let's get back to MLB. Geez. All right. So to start things off, there are a couple of plays that are looking pretty low-hanging fruitish to me today. The first one for sure that's looking low-hanging fruit. I'll just start it. This has got to be. If this one loses, I'll eat it. But the Mets in Colorado over, and the low-hanging fruit part of this is the first 5 innings over. You got Matz, you got Hoffman. Both these guys are getting crushed in a serious way, not just at Colorado. This is actually Matz's first start, But Mats, I was expecting him to get hit. Of course, he did have a few excellent starts, kind of surprisingly, in the same way that Hamels did. But then he started to get crushed in a major way, which is what I was expecting from him. Now he's going into Coors for the first time in his career. And on the other side, Hoffman has also been regressing in a major way as well, getting crushed, not just at Coors, on the road as well. So one of these guys is probably going to get crushed, if not both of them. And the first 5 innings over, even at 6.5, is looking like it's got to be some low-hanging fruit of the day. And I will make that one an official pick. Start things off with that, and I will officially dub that one a low-hanging fruit. It's got to be. It qualifies as a low-hanging fruit. It's just like, this is there. If it doesn't cash, that's fine. The weather seems okay. First 5 innings over 6.5. Mets, Colorado, -120. That's the line market wide. 5 dimes and Intertops have 7. But yeah, first 5 innings over 6.5 -120. Obvious play to me, and I'm going to cash it. I mean, I'm gonna give that one as a pick. Oh, there was a Freudian slip. I think that one is a casher. The Mets in Colorado, first 5 innings over, and the full game over is probably a the full game over at 12.5 is probably a casher as well. And also the old first 5 innings team totals over, probably both of them are pretty good. And I might wind up giving both of them as well. It's the Mets are 3 -124 and Colorado 3.5 -112. So both of those are looking pretty tempting as well. But for now, the low-hanging fruit, the no-brainer play, the not trying to get too cute with it or get too many extra units on top of it is just the first 5 innings. First 5 innings over 6.5 Colorado Mets. Of course, a lot of roster changes, as we knew would happen. The Dodgers, Yankees, and Cubs all got richer, right? And the Astros, Giants, and the Red Sox, not quite. The Astros did add Liriano, which I'm not sure if that was a great call play there, but yeah. The Yankees, Cubs, all sorts of guys who were added onto all those rosters, and so I'm going to look into that a little bit further today, just to make sure that I'm on top of all the roster changes, a lot of bullpen stuff. A lot of the Nationals now have on paper an excellent bullpen, which is they added Doolittle and I forgot the other guy, and then they added the closer. His name escapes me at the moment, but the Nationals suddenly have a pen that went from being a glaring liability for most of the season to now possibly being an asset, which puts them which makes them Astros-esque. Houston Astros-esque. So we'll see how that shakes out. But the Nationals might become a great bet in August overall, despite being a big favorite in many games. So there you go. Now, to everyone who cashed, I just looked up. This was a game I was about to. I have a psychic connection here with Juan Yu because he's asking Tigers or Yankees, and let's see. Albert Perez says, "Are you guys having techno problems?" I don't think anyone is reporting techno problems, so it's probably just you, Albert Perez. All right. So Tigers or Yankees?
Got problems, Albert.
Tigers or Yankees? Yesterday, people were asking about that game. I'm sure some people were on the Yankees. That line moved 60 cents by close. It opened in the -170s. I thought, at -230 at one point. And the jury is just because the Yankees won does not necessarily mean that was the right side of that huge line, but it certainly is suggestive of it. And I bet the Yankees on the overnight line, and I'm taking today Sanchez against Sabathia. The big question is, Sanchez has been regressing. Is he going to continue to be vulnerable here? And the other question is, will Sabathia be good enough? And my guess on both of those is yes. So I'm going to take the Yankees -1, liking that one, and the money line part of that one -175 at BetOnline and SportsBetting.ag, and the run line part of that one will be +112 at Pinnacle. So that's just a relatively modest favorite line for the Yankees -1 against Detroit. Detroit, of course, traded their closer, which it's more indicative of what's going on with that team. The guy who replaces him might surprisingly be as good as Wilson was their closer. So Detroit didn't have a good pen to begin with. So it's just looking like Detroit is a team that I'm looking to fade, along with the White Sox. Although yesterday I didn't have the guts to pull the trigger, but as a huge home underdog, I thought the White Sox were just too big of an underdog yesterday. So the White Sox are a team that I am looking to fade unless they're just giving these massive underdog lines, which once again they're getting today, which we'll get into in a second because it's Pelfrey against Stroman in that game, but at +200. I have to think that the White Sox are getting a little bit too disrespected there. Stroman has been having some serious control issues. He got thrown out of his last game for arguing balls and strikes. And Pelfrey, is a guy who is very vulnerable every start out, but at times pitches better. At times has starts where he goes 5 innings, gives up 6 walks. but gets out of it with 1 or 2 or 3 runs. And just like yesterday, I'm thinking that maybe the White Sox, as bad as they are and as bad as Pelfrey is, are just not bad enough to warrant that big of a home underdog line. So I did bet the White Sox at plus 200 a little bit on the overnight line, and I might give that one as a pick. But the point is that I am giving the Yankees -1 as a pick today. Now, some other interesting games. Another one, I talked about this one with Drew Martin yesterday. I said that in our series previews, Milwaukee has definitely been slumping out majorly in a major way offensively, but I think at some point they should start to pick it up, and it might happen this series with St. Louis. And the opening line on tonight's game with Nelson against Martinez, I think I'm going to take a shot with Milwaukee -1. Martinez has been giving up more home runs recently. So is Nelson, and Martinez is coming off of a better start than he had previously. With he got 8 strikeouts. Nelson also similarly had a bunch of sort of mediocre starts, and his last start was better. We had 10 strikeouts, but overall, I'm liking Nelson a little bit more than Martinez here, and Milwaukee's lineup to maybe bounce back a little bit in this series. So at the low line, at 135, I wouldn't take it, but at the current line, I will take it, and I did bet it, and I'll give that one just as a simple pick here. Milwaukee -1 at some plus money. The money line part of that is -114 at Pinnacle. Run line part plus 182 at Pinnacle as well. So that's Milwaukee -1 at decent plus money there. Let's see some other bets that I made on the overnight lines. Yeah, a lot of big road favorites: Washington, Miami, and the Dodgers at Atlanta. And I actually bet the under on both of those. I think I'm liking the Washington Miami game a little bit more. Scherzer, of course, is obviously Scherzer, not quite in the Chris Sale category right now, but still obviously dominant and reliable as ever. And this guy O'Grady for Miami is a guy who had solid AAA numbers. Struggled a little bit in the majors in his first bunch of appearances, had some control issues in 2 starts ago, but then in his last start, put it all together and had a great start in his last start. So I think that this might be one of those games where if you can parlay a side and a total at your book, it might be worth a shot parlaying the under and Miami, because if this game goes under because O'Grady has a good start, then there's a very good shot that Miami, as a huge home underdog, pulls out the win. So, that might be worth a shot. The Miami parlayed with the under, and definitely the under in that game just in general on the at 8.5. Wow, it's now down to 8 or 7.5. Wow, I beat the hell out of that line move. I got 8.5. I got 8.5 -118, and when I saw it, I was very surprised because of Scherzer starting. I didn't understand why it was that high. Actually, there were a bunch of lines yesterday. Drew Martin and I didn't talk about it in the show yet. We did yesterday because we didn't want to make ourselves look stupid. We try to avoid that.
Always good.
Yes, and there's 2 basic ways you can avoid looking stupid. One is actually not being stupid, and then you can just sort of say whatever you think. The other way is to recognize when you don't know something and then just to shut the hell up about it. And that's what we did with the Boston line with Chris Sale. It was -139 yesterday, and both Drew Martin, I didn't understand that at all. I told him off camera that I was expecting -180. Drew Martin, I'm putting him out on blast here, but he was like, yeah, I didn't understand that line either. And I jumped on that one as soon as it came out, only because I thought it would go up. It's now up to 160 into the 165. So I don't understand why that line was opened as low as it did. And Drew and I think we're both right on our assessment that it shouldn't have been that low. Now it's hedgeable at the line that I took it, and so I'm going to hedge out on it though. I just thought the line didn't make any sense to me. I would lean under on that one. So yeah, and the other line that didn't make sense to me was the 8.5 in Washington, Miami, and I did hit that one, and now it's down to 8 or 7.5. So I'm not sure if I'd want to give that one right now, but that's definitely another interesting game. And let's see what else is interesting on the card. The Cincinnati-Pittsburgh game is also an interesting one. Jameson Taillon is coming off of pretty much his worst start in the majors, I think. He had a run of excellent starts when he came back from the disabled list. Then he had a run of a little bit, more mediocre starts. And then his last start, he got absolutely crushed. So I think it's an educated guess as to whether or not he's likely to have a good start here or not. My sense is that, maybe throughout the month of August, he will regress a little bit, but in this start, he probably will be okay. I also bet Pittsburgh on the opening line. It was in the -150s when I got it. Now it's all the way up to the -170s. And I also bet the under 9 in that one, even with Homer Bailey on the other side. Homer Bailey has a history of doing well at Pittsburgh, and it's a game that I'm thinking might be reminiscent of Pittsburgh's recent home series against Milwaukee, where Pittsburgh is a good bet to get a win, and they win 5-2, 4-3. 5-3, that type of game. So even though Homer Bailey is starting, I did take a shot with the under at 9, and it is there's still 9s, but it's significantly worse odds than the line I took. So that's an interesting one. And I also jumped on the under 8 in Boston and Cleveland, not because I wanted to hedge out of it, just because I thought that was a decent bet. And obviously, another sort of no-brainer play today would be the Cleveland Indians on the first 5 innings team total over. As you know, Matty, guys, one thing I like to do with a lot of these stud starting pitchers, instead of taking them on the big favorite lines or whatever, just take the first 5 innings unders, which are usually 1.5. But, a lot of times you take them at 1.5, that's pretty low. And then they get they'll come in, shutout. 5 innings are up, no runs, and you're like, that was easy. That was no problem.
Yeah.
Chris Sale has gone 3 straight starts where he's given up a total of 0 runs. So, Chris Sale is really in a groove right now. And the first 5 innings under, it would be 1.5, minus 112. That's not a bad bet right there. Let me think if I want to give it. Let me just think if I want to give it. I mean, Cleveland can put up a couple here or there.
Sure,
but,
of course they can.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so let's see. I just glanced at some of the comments. There's some shenanigans going on there.
Is there?
It looks like there is. All right,
so actually, I'm going to say this out loud to you guys.
Yeah,
because this is actually pretty important. Let me just read what I got here.
Yeah.
All of our spots for the IFBC are filled at the moment, so everybody's filled up. If you have booked a trip with us and have not got a confirmation email from us, contact us immediately. Let me know right now in this chat, or I'll reach out to you.
Yeah.
So that's all.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I just look up and I'm like, let me maybe I'll glance at the comments, see if there's any interesting stuff.
Well,
commenting on the. Sorry.
What's going on?
No, I was like, maybe I'll see some comments that will sort of shed some light on some of the leans and opinions I've been given. I look up, the first comment I see is Jay Paca says, "LOL, I'm just playing. I'm probably gay." Yeah.
Whatever.
I'm probably gay too. I mean,
We're all in the end, gay, right?
In the end, probably. Yeah. All right. So getting back to baseball, let's see. So as of right now, I've given the Yankees -1, Milwaukee -1, Mets, Colorado first 5 innings over, and picks I'm thinking about giving. I guess I'm still thinking about giving the Cincinnati Pittsburgh under at 9. The Pittsburgh line is now up into the -170s, and at that high of a line, I don't think I'm thinking about giving it anymore. It's just too high. Cleveland Boston under, I'm still thinking about giving that one as a pick. And the Cleveland first 5 innings team total under, I'm thinking about giving that one as a pick as well. The Washington Miami game now at under 7.5 or 8, I'm probably going to stay off of, but I did bet it at 8.5, and if it's still 8.5, I'd probably be giving that one as a pick. The Dodgers Atlanta game, I haven't mentioned that. We'll get to that in a second. The Seattle Texas game is a game that's interesting as well. I took Seattle yesterday as a small dog, and Martinez is coming up for Texas, making the start in place of Darvish, and I would be leaning Seattle here again. I had my note on the overnight line. There was no overnight line on this one, but my note to myself was, if Seattle's a dog, I'll be on them, and they are a very small underdog, plus 107 at Pinnacle, so that's a lean as well. And I guess the White Sox at plus friggin' 200 is a lean also. And I guess that's about it. The only other thing that's interesting is obviously Aaron Nola is dealing start in and start out. His next start here is against the Angels, although the travel spot is not good for Philly. Obviously, Philly played yesterday. It was a 12 o'clock game, but still they had to play yesterday, and now they're traveling cross country to the Angels. So that's not a great spot for them. But Aaron Nola is really given 5 and 6 inning starts that are excellent start in and start out. Velasco is, a wild card. Sometimes he's surprisingly lights out. Literally, throw like a shutout start, and 2/3 of the time though he'll have a bad start. But even if Velasco has a good start here, Philly might still be a good bet on the first 5 innings or the first 5 innings plus a half run. So that would definitely be a lean, although I'm not going to bet that one. I mean, I'm not going to make that one a pick here. And then also the Minnesota-San Diego game, Barrios is running into some problems, and San Diego is a team that is scrappy and just a team you don't want to fade quietly, a good bet at home. I've been betting them a bunch recently with some of these, modest home favorite lines or as a home dog. And today is a similar situation. I'd be leaning San Diego as well. And I did bet that one small on the overnight when they were about plus 104. Now they're about minus 105 on the other side. So that line has moved about 10 cents. And those are my leans for the card. I'm not sure if I'm going to turn any of my leans into picks. Right now, the 3 picks that I've given are solid picks that I really like. And it can definitely be treacherous when you start adding on top of it all these leans that are like, false flags and all that crap. But all right, so let me just look at some comments here to see if there are. Let's see. I look up now. I'm like, all right. Let me find some comments here to shed some light on some of the opinions and some of these lines that are kind of tough. First comment I glance at is Rich Banks. You are gay and it's okay because gay means happy and happy means gay. All right, great. Thanks, Rich Banks. Okay. Let's try to find some baseball comments here. First comment is McGrogster. Thoughts on Fires here against Archer. Yeah, that is a tough one. I told Drew Martin yesterday that if Tampa Bay was up around plus 130, I'd be on them. But they weren't plus 130. They were more like around plus 115. And now it's moved even further in the opposite direction. So I'm thinking someone might be out for Houston. I'm not sure why there's such a big line movement here in favor of Tampa Bay. I definitely would have been on them at plus 130, but they were never plus 130. Even from plus 115, there's been a 20-cent move in favor of Tampa Bay. It's now minus 105 on both sides now. So, that one, again, I'd be leaning under, but that one I'm holding off of for now. Tampa Bay is tempting here, but at the current line, I'm not gonna take it. All right, let's look at some other. Robert Peak says Encarnacion, blah, blah. Wow, here we go. Robert Peak, Encarnacion 385, Ramirez 357, Santana 321, and all with solid sample size. Sale gets rocked today. He's due. Wow, Robert Peak. Sale gets rocked today.
What is that? 2 runs?
Due. Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. No, I mean it's possible. I mean, a guy getting for most of the season, Chris Sale he was pitching well, but he was giving up 2 and 3 runs every start. Though he wasn't quite lights out, top of the line results. Now, recently, he has improved into that. Again, he's got 3 straight starts with no runs given up. But Robert Peak with a bold prediction here. That's what I like. Bold predictions. Obviously, not bold predictions that you don't believe in, but feels like Robert Peak really believes in this one and willing to stick his neck out, making the prediction that Sale gets rocked today. He's due. We shall see, Robert Peak, if that actually winds up happening. Okay. Let's see. Hako Schofield says we need Yankees shirt to change luck. Yeah, maybe so. This is when you know you're kind of doing well. You have one losing day, and people are like, oh God, you got to change your luck somehow. I'm like, all right, obviously I've arrived. I'm here now. I have one losing day, and people are like, man, you're having some bad luck. Change your luck. Yeah, one losing day, Hako Schofield. And on a Friday, of course, it was a winning day, but it was only plus a 1/10 of a unit, although that was also the day that I gave out, 4 winning UFC picks. So, but you're right. Well, whatever.
Clapping.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah.
I mean, I gave out 5.
Nice. Very nice. Maybe I will. Did you tweet them or where?
I think I did tweet them out.
You did?
Okay. I mean, nobody cares. Nobody looks at my stuff. I wouldn't have told anybody to bet on that things.
No, but I'm just saying, like, if you have to, to actually say that you gave it, you have to have put it out publicly.
Pretty sure on my own Twitter.
Okay. But that counts. That counts. I'm just saying you have to. Definitely. Okay. So, maybe I will start wearing the Yankees shirt once again. We shall see. Russ says bet the farm on the New York Yankees. Okay. I mean, betting the farm and over betting, as we know, is the way to lose. Even if you have an edge, even if you have a big edge, if you over bet your edges, once again, I say this all the time, if you over bet your edges, it doesn't matter how your handicapping goes. It doesn't matter who you're following. Nothing. All that you will lose if you over bet your edges. So, I think the Yankees is a good bet. I bet it. I'm on it. But you always have to bet appropriately based on your assumed edge and your bankroll size. Okay,
James, I'll talk to you about that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll reach out to you when I get back to my desk later.
Okay. Albert Perez says Cleveland and Boston game under. That's what I was thinking. I bet it at under 8. But again, Robert Peak predicting that Chris Sale gets rocked. So we will see. We shall see. Let's see. Other comments. Yes, Darvish to the Dodgers. That is interesting. We'll see what his line is when his first start comes out. Again, that's just frustrating to me because I was looking to fade Darvish going forward, but to bet on the Dodgers going forward, so that will cancel. Those will cancel themselves out.
Matthew's ready to party. Wants to
See.
know we're going to the beach or the Pirates Club or the Delray.
Bob B says Boston, Cleveland under. Okay, so a lot of people liking the Boston, Cleveland under, and one guy sticking his neck out, Robert Peak, saying that that he likes Sale to get hit. Ricky Levine says Nelson 0-8 against the Cardinals. Yes, I am aware of that. Nelson does have lifetime stats against St. Louis that are not good, and that is somewhat meaningful. But what's so funny?
You're making me laugh. These comments are always golden.
Yeah, they are. They are very funny. They are very funny. Yes, it's true. And early on in April, Nelson also had a start that wasn't good against St. Louis. So you're right. But I take that one with a little bit of a grain of salt. It is a low sample size, and a lot of those numbers are against different hitters and whatever. But it's definitely worth noting. Yes, Nelson has bad numbers against St. Louis overall in his career. And again, it's the line here. I'm betting. I'm getting plus money here on this one. So if it wins, I'll win 1 1/4 unit, 1.3 units, and if it loses, I lose just 1. It's all about the line. At the current line, I'm willing to bite on it. But yes, it is definitely true that that Nelson's lifetime numbers against St. Louis are terrible. Absolutely accurate. Absolutely true. So nice comment there, Ricky Levine. Interesting. Robert Peak, Big Four Cleveland hitters bat over 350 against Sale. Interesting. There you go. Yes, and Kobe Valentine also highlighting Nelson's bad lifetime record against St. Louis, which is true.
I didn't realize it was that bad.
Well, what?
I didn't know it was that bad.
It is, and there's a lot of reasons for something like that. And there's, when you do something like that, you're looking at like a lifetime record against a team that obviously goes back a bunch of years. You're just begging to get bit by data mining, by incorrect data mining there, and by looking at results that are highly due to variance and to randomness. But it's definitely worth noting. It's absolutely worth noting, and I prefer to look at the stats like what Robert Peak is quoting here. Big Four Cleveland hitters bat over 350 against Sale. So that's the hitters against the pitcher, no matter what team they're against. But still, it's definitely an important something to take note of. And again, it's you're combining all the factors, and it's the line that I'm liking here in this one.
That's ambitious, Cynthia. Don't worry, Donnie. We have marriage-friendly activities planned.
Nice. Nate Dog 420 says under in last 10 meetings with under 7-3 last 10 with the Detroit and Yankees. Yeah, and I actually did take a small shot with the under in that one today as well. Very small shot, and that's all predicated basically on Sanchez not getting shelled. I think he'll probably be good enough. I took a small shot with that. Yeah, I would agree with you there. Let's see. Other comments here. There we go. Rich Bank saying Nola first 5 and over. Yeah, that might wind up being a good play. Philly on the first 5. I'm probably not going to. Yeah, everyone asking about that one. King Nola on the mound. Thoughts against Velasco? Yeah, Philly on the first 5 innings, and I probably take the plus a half run line on that one, and I might actually wind up betting that if I do it. Let's see.
We got a Facebook question. Adam Adley, Colorado Mets, Rockies in the over.
Yep. Yes. Low-hanging fruit of the day. You identified it. That is not always a low-hanging fruit pick, but this one qualifies, and if it loses, that's fine. First 5 innings over 6.5 minus 120. That's got to count as low-hanging fruit of the day. If both Hoffman and Matz can combine to hold the opposing lineups down, fine. And, I'll eat the loss.
Dirty Drew Martin wants to know if you got any CFL picks for the week yet.
Well, yeah, I do. Tomorrow. Nothing. There's one total. Let me just find that game. Let me just find the game quickly. Pull up my CFL notes. Nothing that I'm loving on the sides, but there were a bunch of totals. Sorry, let me just quickly find my CFL notes here. Yeah, I took my biggest bet was Hamilton Edmonton over 55, and I believe that it has moved since then. But yeah, the Hamilton Edmonton over 55 is one is one pick that I'm liking. I'm also a lot smaller, which is a little bit tricky, but I was also leaning Winnipeg, Ottawa on the under 58.5. It's a high total for reasons, and I won't get into that right now, but I was leaning under 58.5 in Winnipeg, Ottawa, and also my best bet of the week, although, it's not necessarily a great play like I liked Saskatchewan and a bunch of plays last week. Best bet of the week for CFL would be the over 55 in Hamilton, Edmonton, although that was the opening line, and I haven't checked where it's moved. I think it might be 55.5 now, but that's my bet. That's my bet of the week, Hamilton and Edmonton over 55. All right, so that's CFL. Let me get to some, look for some other possible. Yeah, Hako Schofield over 12.5 in Colorado. Yeah, that's just an obvious, let's see. Homer Bailey Day. Everyone's talking about Homer Bailey Day. Yeah, that's true. So how come everyone isn't highlighting how Homer Bailey has great career numbers against Pittsburgh? This is a little bit different, of course, because Homer Bailey is obviously in a bad way right now in general. Although not every start out has been terrible for him. But if we're highlighting, if we're data mining here, we're looking at stats against a specific team going back many years, you will notice that Homer Bailey has very good stats against Pittsburgh, and especially in Pittsburgh, I believe. So that's something worth noting. Let's see. Some comment. Zach Kenkel says, just got back from Vegas, won $8,000. Really? Wow. Okay.
Not bad.
That's not bad. More than I got. That's more than I got. I'll tell you that right now. I got about $15. I don't know, $8,000. Goddamn. All right, so let's see. Let's look for some other. Other comments. All right. Yeah. Just looking for some. All right. A lot of people talking about the IFBC, which is this week. A lot of comments about the IFBC. People seem to be very excited about this, Matty Ice. For anyone who's I guess not familiar with it, maybe watching the show for the first time and still watching from the beginning after half an hour of content, what can we tell about the IFBC? It's just a football. Is there anything interesting? Anything of note?
Anything interesting? Yeah, man, it's all interesting. So this is our inaugural football betting conference. So we were having, I believe, 8 or 10 speakers, guys like Gil Alexander, Drew Martin. You are our MC. Teddy Cover's is going to be there. All the guys from the industry. I've been putting up links and stuff so you guys can check it out on Twitter. Our scheduled events. We will be streaming on our YouTube page live.
Streaming the whole thing live.
Well, at least the talks.
Right.
So from at least Friday and Saturday from noon to 5 Eastern, we'll be streaming all of our, and these are TED Talk style things. So we got guys get up on stage, we have certain topics. They range and from like social media and sports betting to how to have compare fantasy and sports betting together. Just a lot of good stuff. We're just going to get a lot of people together, have a lot of fun, have a lot of good discussions, share ideas, share information, and that's what it's all about. We are a community.
Yes.
We are betting against the bookies. We are not playing against each other.
That sounds awesome. All right. People, I was looking at the comments. The only other comments that are of note is that a lot of people asked for WNBA picks, and I did not look at there is a WNBA game tonight. I know that, but I did not look at that yet. If there's something that I really like on it, I will tweet it out. But sorry, I did not get a chance to look at that. I was a little bit upset about my relatively shitty plays yesterday from baseball. So I looked at today's card, and I was also paying attention to the trade deadline stuff that was going on. So I did not look at the WNBA game tonight. But yeah, let's see. I guess that's about it. I guess we can wrap it.
Actually, yeah, I want to double down on what Zach just put up too.
What's that?
We do have hold on a second. We do have a daily feature now called Point Blank. I would highly recommend everybody read it. It's written by David Walensky. And I know we've talked about him before. Just quality all around. And that daily posting, or the daily feature, he called it, has just been fantastic.
Really?
Yes, it has been. Are you here to double down on that?
It's been fantastic. All right, I guess that'll just wrap it up for me. Let me make sure there's no picks that I was thinking about that I missed. Given, yeah, the Pittsburgh one is definitely a lean towards the under. The Miami one, Washington Miami, I'm not going to take that one because it's dropped down to 8. Cleveland one, I'll leave that one. The Cleveland first 5 innings under 1.5, definitely interesting, but I'll leave that one as just a lean for now. And I guess
Matthew, I will meet you at the bar when you get here.
Can I say real fast, Pete?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just wanted to let everybody watching know that we just recently added an option to be able to comment on articles on SBR Picks. We're still working out a few kinks, but it's there. When you open up an article, it's right on the left-hand side with the social media, the share, the retweet buttons, the share on Facebook. But there's a comment section now, so really valuable for those, especially reading Point Blank was the whole reason we added it. So if you haven't checked out Point Blank, which is a featured article on SBR Picks, do yourself a favor, go read that article. It is a great way to start your day, great way to shake things up. If after you've got everything going with Pete in the morning, go check that article out. Comment. David Malinsky, the writer, is really good about getting back to you. So it's a really cool way for you to interact with the guys providing the content, just as you do with Pete every morning. You can carry on your sports betting conversations with the SBR writers. So check that out. Go look at it and start participating, just as you guys do every morning here. So. Yeah, and we'll see you guys, a lot of you, tomorrow. Jesus.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's here. So we'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you Friday. A lot of you guys get to meet Pistol Pete in person. The mustache is real.
Yes, and growing. And growing.
Have some, horrific, I don't know, if you're going to grill hamburgers tonight and you have, a horrific grilling.
Hey, listen.
Sear off your mustache.
Nothing is promised. Tomorrow is promised to no man. So, yes, anything is possible.
Just, wax your entire upper body.
Yes.
Are you going to wash your Yankee shirt?
Yeah, I probably will. I'll watch it.
He actually has stage 4 alopecia. Those are all just head merkins and fake mustaches.
Absolutely. All right, so I'm just going to go with 3 picks today. The good news is, though, each of the 3 picks I'm liking quite a bit. Yankees -1, Milwaukee -1, and Colorado Mets first 5 innings over 6.5 -120. I'm feel quite confident that that at least 2 of those picks will cash, and it'll be a profitable day. So that wraps it up. We'll be back tomorrow for the Wednesday card.
And yes.